Paris today, an island in the middle of the Seine, where Notre Dame Cathedral sits and has for 850 years, a living symbol of Christianity, of France, of Western civilization itself, all but melted down, its steeple toppling on live television. There you have the pictures. The final damage is still being assessed tonight, but it looks to be a near total loss. The interior of the cathedral, famously called the Forest, 800-year-old timbers ignited like a tinderbox.
Those who found the words for their impressions, one after the other, all said the same.
This is awful. It's terribly sad. It's terrifying. The fire is uncontrollable. I've been here for 1 hour and there's nothing we can do.
And our coverage continues now with Sky News.
Just tell us, how do you feel when you watch this? Just give us an idea of the mood here. It's kind of deathly quiet, isn't it? There's a really strange, eerie sense of people. People are just stunned.
It's totally eerie. It's totally weird. There's total awestruck. It's just like, this is an icon of Paris, and it's just shocking. It's totally shocking.
And you're visiting, are you?
I'm visiting, yes. I visit regularly, but it's just... And I often come here. I was here on Friday. Everything was normal. And now it's all changed for all time.
What's the Notre Dame Cathedral mean to you?
Paris is ground zero, you know. This is the centre of Paris.
It's the heart of the city, isn't it? I mean, it is the very heart of the city.
The soul, the heart.
As well as the Eiffel Tower, it's hard to think of two buildings.
Absolutely. And it's just so shocking, yeah.
Yeah, people are struggling to find the words to describe what has happened here.
And to be clear, it's a loss. We don't build things like Notre Dame Cathedral anymore. We can't. And so this is, you know, the elimination of a finite number of places like this. So the two things that, just to be clear from your report, the two things at this hour that we really don't know, and maybe we should, is how did this happen exactly? Right. There's some speculation, but we don't actually know if that's right.
We don't.
And we're not really sure why. We always want to give firefighters the benefit of every doubt, but we don't know why the response seemed delayed, do we?
Felipe is on the line with us, a French elected official who is in Paris now. Felipe, what have you seen and what do you know?
Well, I was close to the scene when it happened, and no, I left the place because we want to let people work around it. Everybody's really under shock now in France. I would tell you something. It's even if nobody died. I mean, it's like a 9/11. It's a French 9/11, you know, and it's a big shock. I mean, this church was there for more than 850 years. Even the Nazis didn't dare to destroy it. And you need to know that for the past years, we had churches desecrated each and every week in France, all over France. So, of course, you will hear the story about the political correctness, which will tell you that it's probably an accident.
Sir, we're not going to speculate here of the cause of something which we don't know. If you have observations or you know something, we would love to hear it.
No, I'm just telling you something. What you need to be ready.
No, sir, we're not doing that here. Not now. Okay. Not on my watch. Okay. Felipe Carcente, okay. It's very good of you to be here. We're watching the at least partial destruction of a world icon. Notre Dame Cathedral has been burning for 2.5 hours. The initial reports we got were that the fire started in a construction zone in the rear. We are thousands of miles away, and the man on the phone with us has absolutely no information of any kind about the origin of this fire, and neither do I. And the fire investigators will at some point come to a determination about what caused this. And conspiracy theories about anything are worthless, and in many cases counterproductive and injurious to society. And those who entertain them are not acting in the best interests of the people of this planet.
Well, the fire you've just been watching is in some ways a metaphor, maybe, for the broader decline of Christianity in Europe. That decline has been swift. and full of unintended consequences. Mark Stein has been studying this question for more than 30 years, and we're glad to have him with us tonight. Mark, thanks a lot for coming on. There's so many things to say about this, but the one I can't get out of my mind is we haven't built anything like Notre Dame Cathedral in the West in so long. We don't build things that are beautiful anymore, maybe almost by design. Will there ever be anything built like that ever again?
Go back 8.5 centuries to the time when this building began construction, it took a century for the first part of it to be completed. The men who set to work on this knew that they would not see it finished in their lifetime, but their sense of a transcendent meaning to life was so strong. That the idea of building the most beautiful buildings to the glory of God, they took naturally in a way that we don't anymore.
Many things are said to be irreplaceable: great art, cultural heritage, symbols of protection and hope. What word should we use when it's all of these?
This incident hit me hard, and I know I'm not alone in this. From agnostic to pagan to Christian, whether American or French or German, I think we all felt a deep sense of loss. The masterful architects of this timeless work of art were of a caliber that we're scarcely able to produce anymore. I think this was at the heart of our depth of feeling. The Goths were an exceptional people, and even this word doesn't do them justice. The backbone and the heart of Europe. Nearly every Western nation owes the finest portion of their modern history to the outgrowths of this root. Brilliant minds, warriors, and artists, they also felt a much more real connection to the divine than we do today. Life wasn't experienced as some relatively meaningless clamor for wealth and instant gratification. Because they believed in a higher power, their existence was an active striving to emulate and recreate this conception of absolute perfection, and pay homage to this divine beauty by attempting to manifest it in their creations to the best of their ability. They sought to allow their hands to become conduits of a divine nature, and the Cathedral of Notre Dame was one of their defining constructs, and acted as the heart and soul of what was Europe's most impressive city. Well over 100 years of the most careful and loving labor went into its creation. It wasn't merely the flower of Christianity or of a particular nation, but of race, culture, and soul, a standing rebuke to so much of what we've allowed our modern world to become. And perhaps this is why so many on the other side of the fence, some secretly, some less secretly, reveled in its destruction. Perhaps it's why the accident happened in the first place, and why the controlled press was so quick to dispense with and bury even the suggestion of foul play. In an age which the average person can recite chapter and verse of every episode of Game of Thrones, yet knows little to nothing of their own cultural heritage, such events are all the more devastating. Instead of being informed and shaped by cultural influences of profound depth and value, springing from our own treasured roots and customs and traditions, we now allow foreign bards to weave powerfully manipulative narratives which we unconsciously digest without a second thought. Like Hansel and Gretel feasting away on that sugary house. Buildings like this cathedral are breadcrumbs, hints and echoes of a loftier tradition, waiting patiently to be rediscovered, understood, and embraced, and lead us back home. Watching the flames burn, I was struck by a realization I'd had a while back, one which has grown on me ever since. Though our foes glory in painting us as the source of all suffering and misery throughout the world, A careful reading of history shows our archetype to be very much the polar opposite of this. We seem to be the firemen struggling mightily to put out the fires so often created by others, instilling order where chaos once was, and striving to preserve it. A natural role for a people oriented around an All-Father, a Heavenly Father that provides our template. I feel Kipling used the word burden with eyes wide open, and yet with no hatred in his heart. And the other realization was this: our goal can't be to merely preserve or rebuild such beautiful structures, but needs to be rather to create the conditions from which such builders and creators can once again spring forth. If the world ever allows that divine spark to be wholly snuffed out, all is lost. Technology won't save us, it'll only serve to hasten our implosion. I grit my teeth as I watched a prominent news anchor talk about the mixed opinions about its destruction, almost laughing as she flippantly spoke about how it wasn't really reflective of the modern world anymore. I listened to another, just after, speak to the relatively slow response to the flames by saying, if there were so much as one person in any real danger, rest assured everyone would be scrambling. Men routinely died to create such works, and were happy to do so, and in many cases would have sacrificed tenfold more if need be. They brought to mind the quote, "A world in which nothing is worth dying for is a world in which nothing is worth living for." A future without spirit and depth is a future in which we're domesticated animals, no longer with gaze fixed upwards, striving towards the heights, but lazily submitting to free fall, not only lacking in greatness, but lacking the ability to even conceive of greatness. Speaking personally, this is a fate worse than death. A muted, impotent world, stumbling forward without purpose. The fire destroyed much, but it was heartening to see that it was no match for Gothic master builders. We need to rekindle that mastery. It's time to rebuild.